time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Pay attention, I'm on a mission. Man with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now.
After the high banks of Daytona last week, the Northwest CLICKIT RV Xfinity fixed B setup cars are now ready to go here in Atlanta. You're watching some of the final rounds of the practice session ongoing. Qualifying has already been concluded, and this warm-up will set the stage for 100 laps around the mile-and-a-half newly paved Atlanta Motor Speedway. Welcome to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV, simulcast on the Community Radio Network. I am Wesley Outland. We've got Terry Radford alongside. Charles Wooten pushing the buttons in our broadcast. Terry, Monday night, what a wild finish for the trucks, the opening 2 weeks at Daytona and Atlanta. I think we're probably going to see the same thing here for these Xfinity B setup cars here tonight.
Yeah, Monday was fantastic. You and Jason did a great job. I think you both hit octaves I didn't know existed on the planet Earth, but it was a wild enough finish that it deserved another octave to be put on the scale. But this track is crazy. It's fast. It's exhilarating. It's exciting. It's everything you want out of a racetrack as a driver. But as a fan, this track sucks. The handling is there. Like you have the same issues you have with the handling. But man, I miss old Atlanta. Thank goodness it's still on the iRacing platform, because this racing right here, while it is fun, I miss getting up on the wheel, elbows out, digging in the corner. Lap 1 to lap 2, totally different. I definitely miss it.
Well, we'll definitely see what goes on here tonight, because if you think of the new repaved Atlanta, you're going to be thinking of super speedway racing, no doubt about it. The trucks did the same thing. We're going to see what these guys can do here tonight for the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series. And let's go to the starting lineup on the pole. Ryan Bloom, pole on the trucks Monday night, pole for this series tonight. And William Fletcher has turned some heads in the last 24 hours in his debut for the year. Ryan Gormley in the 22, Devin West in the 5. Row number 3 will find Kevin Smith in the 00 and Ron Hunter in the 30. Row 4 here in Atlanta, Stephen O'Hare and Brett Johnson put it in those top number 10 now. Carl Burke, the legend, and Paul Newton, they're rolling off pit road.
You go back to row 6, you see Joshua Marcy with Roy Grande. Go back to row 7 with Brian Reynolds and BJ Tidrick in the 72. Row number 8, Dan West Jr. and Seth Frazier. Row 9, the owner of LSRTV, Jeff Stabnow with Dan Lather. And rounding out the top 20, Crazy Eyes, Aaron Cooper and Brett Gunwalt.
Row number 11, Sean Brightsman, the 46, Chad Malik in the 08. We're going to speed up the lineup here. Row number 12, Jaden Ledfeather with the 36, Robert Gamble, 54. Row number 13, Will Fine, Tyler King of the 21, Gary Nichols in the 8. Row number 14, quickly, Sam Teets in the 79, Troy Daggett the 99. In the top 30 will be BJ Duvall and Frank Harris.
Row 16, Daryl Tidrick with Ambrose Neville. Row 17 with Tristan T. Wood and Stephen Paulison. Row 18, we're going to find Chris Kynes and Zach Rush. Row 19, Chris White and the Catman James Vining. Row 20, Russ Lundberg and Dylan Kane. Row 21, Tyler Kim and Dana Rogers. And Toby Ritter, shotgun on the field, row 22.
We're ready. Green flag, Atlanta underway. Sorry for the delay, but ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. 100 laps around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Terry, that is 150 miles in distance, and we're underway. They're in turn 2.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun race. You see them side by side, still like a pace lap. Outside lane does not get the run that you thought they were going to get. Everybody wanted to go to the bottom. You see the 5 of West. And I believe that is the 00 with Smith. No, that would be the 28 of Fletcher on the outside trying to get the push. And then West says, no, I'm going to go up the middle. Doesn't really work that well here. We'll see if it gets to the bottom soon.
Opening lap, give it to Ryan Bloom. Hooks up with Gormley up on the top side now. That's going to be Fletcher and hung out to dry. Hunter will come in and give some support behind Devin West's car as they work their way to the back straightaway now. It's Bloom, Gormley, Smith, O'Hare, Westberg, top 5 into 3.
Yes, coming into turn 3 and 4. Everybody wants to migrate to the bottom. Totally opposite of what we saw in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRace Series. The 41 of Stephen O'Hare gets loose. He caught the apron monster. That red and white line down there is not the spot you want to go. You want to paint it like at Talladega Daytona. What a wonderful camera Carl gives us right here. The old Fox cam they used to have, the digger cam on the bottom. It's going to provide a lot of action fest shots here this afternoon as New Atlanta is underway, and it's off to a great start.
It certainly is, as right now they work their way back off of turn number 4 through the dog leg, back to start finish. By the way, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Craftsman Truck, and the Cup Series are in action this weekend at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the And Better Health 400 weekend. Bloom, Gormley, Smith, O'Hare, and West. There's your top 5. They roll off the corner. And believe it or not, Terry, this is the type of racing you're going to see in Atlanta right now in the early going. Anybody could win this race.
Yeah, I was here for the inaugural race last spring in the Earnhardt section of this racetrack with my wife and enjoying. I met a lot of good people. I met Ray Alfalo, 4-time Coke Series champion, Blake McCandless, the analyst, the lead analyst for the Coke Series, John Adams, Shenandoah Shine Sky. Met a lot of great people that was promoting the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series in the home for Coke at Atlanta, Georgia. But this race in real life, William Byron took home the initial win, and I didn't stay for the ending of it. It was a little too hot for me and the wife to sit out there all day long and watch these cars go, but it was shocking to me that this was the racetrack they picked, right, Wesley? I thought that Texas would have been the one that they would have ripped up and made it a super speedway to create more racing and more hype to go to the Texas Motor Speedway. But they took a track that provided, I mean, countless great finish after great finish. Kevin Harvick beat Jeff Gordon. Earnhardt beat Bobby Labonte. Carl Edwards winning his first race here over Jimmy Johnson way back in the heyday. This track just provides great moments. But it's still providing great moments because, well, we're 2 by 2. I mean, Chase Elliott blocked Corey LaJoie clean into the wall last season, last fall, and avoided him getting an upset to get himself into the NASCAR playoffs.
For me as a kid, I'll always remember the 1992 NASCAR championship between, 5, 6, 7 drivers for the NASCAR Winston Cup, and of course, Alan Kulwicki winning the title. Bill Elliott involved in an accident, Richard Petty's last ride, Jeff Gordon's first ride. So much history there back in 1992 as well. You take your pick. Atlanta has made some historical moments in virtual as well as in real life. And now, 8 laps in, Ryan Bloom is the man hitting his marks. He is out in front. And I'll tell you, Terry, Ryan Bloom has really been that star iRacer for the Northwest that has really stepped out to be somebody that he might not win, but he is a contender right now since the season started for all the 4 Northwest events counting today.
Yeah, that's something we talked about ending the season at Florence Motor Speedway with Ryan Bloom. Is the 25 is always consistent. He's always that top 4, top 5 driver that we look at on every basis, whether it was the Cup Series back last season or the Truck Series. And now coming to the Xfinity Series side of things with the CLICKIT RV Fix Series, he's still a contender. It shows that these drivers, while there's not a whole lot of consistency of what we saw last year in this top 10, yeah, we still see Devin West, we still see Stephen O'Hare, we still see Kevin Smith, but Ryan Bloom has been ahead above the rest. He's been that guy to step up. I compared him the other day in a chat with a couple buddies on iRacing. I said he is to Northwest what Roman Reigns is to WWE. He's the head of the table constantly. He's the guy who stands up above the rest of them, and he's always leading laps. While he might not win all of them, but he's the guy that's up front week in and week out, busting his tail to be the fastest driver on the racetrack. And it's also why he's the most trusted guy. I mean, Ryan Gormley's had 4 or 5 opportunities to jump to that outside and leave him out to drive. He stayed tucked right behind that 25 machine as the caution flag is waved over at Lamp.
Caution out. Yellow flag for the first time here on the opening 10 laps of this event here at Atlanta. We'll find out what happened. We'll queue up Charles in our replay here in the replay booth to find out why we're under the yellow flag and all that momentum Ryan Bloom had gone. Well, watch this. Dan Lowther, Monday night winner, somewhere involved in all this.
Oh.
And Dana Rogers getting into Nichols, into the wall, in the fence. Lowther with another punt. And Terry, couple of cars scraping down to the bottom of the apron out of turn 2.
Yeah, 4, 5 cars, I mean, just mangled here. There's just nowhere to go. You cannot push in the corners here. It's the same old tradition that you found at Talladega and Daytona. The only thing that separates the Atlanta Motor Speedway now from every other racetrack with a super speedway title to it, you need tires here. Handling is an absolute must. These things get extremely tight as the tires start to wear. The bottom is not your friend at that moment. The outside lane will become dominant at some point in time in this race, whether it's lap 30 or lap 40. When the fuel window is done, they're going to be ripping the outside wall. It'll look like 2005 Talladega, where Brian Vickers decided to step out and wreck Junior. That might be what wins this race, is somebody on the outside ducking down to the bottom to try to get the run to win this thing.
Pace car leading the field under the yellow flag. Terry, too early to pit, you think? 12 laps into this thing? I don't think anybody's going to come to the pits unless you were damaged.
Yeah, no, you're not pitting here. You're only going to come down when you need a set of tires. They should be able to go. If my memory's correct, I've been doing a lot of C Open and a lot of C fixed and A fixed. I've enjoyed the next gen car here. I know I said last week the next gen has not been my favorite thing to drive, but here at Atlanta, it's very fun. If you're watching this, you're not on iRacing, this is a great opportunity to do it. This is a good way to get your feet wet, We got the new Gen 4 car out. We got a lot of things happening. And nobody should pit here. You saw that Ryan Gormley faked to come to pit road. There is no way in heck I'm pitting this early. I'm waiting till at least a caution. The earliest I'm coming down is lap 30, and that's pushing it. Like that's the latest I'm coming if a caution comes out. If one comes out at lap 25, 26, I'm in. Lap 30, if that caution comes out on the dot, down pit road you go. Take your first set of 4 fresh tires and fill that thing up with fuel and get back out there and make some crazy moves.
13 of 100 laps as the field is getting ready to get assembled behind the pace car. The lights will go off and we will get ready to re-rack them and restack them here as the field to the back straightaway. For 100 laps right now, 13 in. Ryan Gormley now along with Ryan Bloom on the front row. As everybody gets back into place, Ryan Bloom, strong car, Gormley to the outside. Kevin Smith and Stephen O'Hare, row number 2. Devin West, Carl Burke, row 3. Joshua Marcy, Brett Johnson, row 4. William Fletcher making his series debut tonight here in Atlanta. Been practicing, understanding, Terry, he lit up the board in the practice sessions, no doubt, yesterday, preparing for this race tonight. He's right now solidly in the top 10 with Paul Newton.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play favorites here, but the guy back there in 7th, I'm keeping an eye on in Joshua Marcy, all because he's a Tennessee fan. I have no other reasons. I have no other basis of why I would pick the 35, other than when you scroll through his headshot, there's a massive T on his camouflaged head. But he's sitting back there in 7th. We'll see if he can make some moves up here to the front. Green flag's coming back in the air.
Back out. First restart inside the Geico restart zone for the drivers here at Hotlanta. And right now, things are probably triple C, calm, cool, collective at the moment. For how long, though? Here comes O'Hare up on the outside. He tries to make something work around Devin West. Can't get there. He goes inside. Single file. They go to the back straightaway on the restart.
Everybody's single file. The 41 got down. The 22 got down from the outside. We take an onboard look at the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. You hear him feathering the throttle here. He's at about 75, 76,100 RPMs. Gets up to about 82, 84 by the time he gets into turn 1 when he rockets it down. Here you have to conserve tires. It's crazy to think that you have to conserve tires here, but you have to crack that throttle in 1 and 2, crack the throttle in 3 and 4. You keep it wide open around here when you're the 3rd, 4th, 5th car in line. You burn the right front off. You begin to then grow tight. You go all the way up to that wall, and if you can't paint that bottom no more, Wesley, you're kind of up creek without a paddle.
Working their way. Caution is out, by the way. We got another stack up here around Atlanta. Yellow flag on lap number 16. And quickly a caution falls again. Here's a look on your replay. Thanks to Charles Wooten in the production truck for iRacing on LSRTV and CRN for what happened here. And it looks like, Terry, another incident down the back straightaway. This time it goes to the end of the track into turn 3.
We'll see here. They're in 3 and 4. And something has got, there we go. It's checked up in front. It's a check up in the front, and that's going to happen here. That's it's incidental. It's avoidable contact. I don't, you know, when you come off the corner, you have to judge where you're at. You're going to get tight off the exit of these corners here, especially with older tires. I mean, you're not on fresh ones no more. Once you get 15 laps in, 17 laps in now, you're going to get that, but you got to listen to your spotter. You're closer than you've ever been at a super speedway. That's what made last night's Coke Series race so impressive. The fact that that was the first time, that was literally the first time the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series had ever been to this form of Atlanta. They didn't race it last season. They raced the old original Atlanta. Now, when they came here yesterday, I think they did not have a caution until close to the very end. It was like 10, 15 laps to go before we saw that caution flag come out, and then it just trickled on. I'm very surprised because this is polar opposite of what we saw on Monday night. Monday night, we were just, hey, we were la-di-da-di on the bottom. Yeah, there was no outside, 2 wide, 3 wide, no nothing. It was everybody painted that red line down there. And then when we got down to closing time, and the bartender said, "Hey, last call for alcohol," everybody said, "Hey, we're going to stumble out the door here," and everybody starts wrecking. But that's typical super speedway racing.
Everybody behind the top 25 came down to the pit lane for service accident involving a multi-car wreck with Tyler King in 21, 47 Chris White, 54 Robert Gamble. Rush and Frazier still are on the pit lane, as Ryan Bloom has been the man that has led the way since the drop of the green, about to put lap number 18 on the board, working lap 19. Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, Ryan Gormley, Devin West, Stephen O'Hare, your top 5. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification and come back to Atlanta. This is coverage of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series on the Community Radio Network and iRacing on LSRTV.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back to Atlanta. Terry Radford, I'm Wesley Outland. We're ready to go back for the restart here at the midnight hour Eastern time for the second round of the CLICKIT RV Northwest Fixed Setup Series. Ready to bring these Xfinity cars back to green. Entertaining race so far. A couple of caution flags. Matter of fact, before we get ready for the restart, let's take at the bottom right of the TV monitor, give you the Kaufman Creative weather conditions leading up to today's event. 75 degrees, track tip 108, virtual with the wind speed, Terry, at 3 miles an hour. Partly cloudy, sun clouds. What's it going to be like in the daylight as we get ready for the restart, Terry?
Hot and slick. The rear end of these cars are going to slide. I mean, we just saw that their little internet connection up there with Kevin Smith. That's nothing you want to see if you're that second car on that outside lane at 5 at Devin West. He's going to be up one trying to figure out where that 00 is going.
No, you certainly do not. Field comes back to the Geico restart zone in the box, ready to go. Bloom will take off on the inside. Smith, though, gets a nice lunch on the outside lane. He'll carry Gormley, West, O'Hare. Those drivers climb the banking into turn number 1.
I'm going to tell you right now, that 5 is not going to stay with that 00 long. Get a little John Cena action. You can't see me, and there goes the 5 right to the bottom. That 00 of Kevin Smith, he's going to get hung out to dry like a close like a close pin on a clothesline. Nobody's going to go push him. The 35's coming up there, Marcy. He's probably going to take this 3 wide, try to find a way to the bottom. The moment you start to see that wink and blink and a nod up there, you don't want no part of it. You can turn them in an instance, and this entire field is going to wreck. You don't want that. As we'll see what the 35 and what the 27 of Paul Newton does on the outside lane if they try to tuck in on the bottom.
Back straightaway, inside lane works for Bloom. As Terry mentioned, they stay to the bottom. A little ink and blink and nod again on that driver of the 00 from Walla Walla, Washington. Kevin Smith, though, right into it. They're going to go 3 wide as they worked off turn 4. And they still stick it together past the tri-oval. Back to turn 1. Bloom got a hornet's nest, and the big dogs begin to growl up the bank and into 1 and 2.
Comment section just as hot as this racing is right now. A lot of people out there, good buddies, making me laugh. But Ryan Bloom's done his job so far. He's got the 22 of Ryan Gormley right behind him again. That's what he wanted from the initial jump. They became a pair when they started nose to tail. Here they are again. Lap 22 has touched the board, working lap 23. You have the big dogs at the moment. The early part of this season, we saw them last week at Daytona. Bloom, Gormley, O'Hare. That was the 3 that we were looking at for most of the race, going, they were probably going to win this thing. But I'm mightily impressed with the 00 of Kevin Smith up there on that outside lane. He hasn't let them get away too much, and his internet connections come back. So we'll see if anybody trusts him on that outside lane, potentially leading it. Oh, he's loose.
Closing in on a quarter of the distance, coming up here in a few more laps, and 25 remain in, 75 to go. To the back straightaway, it's Ryan Bloom. Gormley right there behind him. You know, you talked about the Pied Piper of the Northwest being Ryan Bloom, Terry. Hands down, the threat, the growing ability, race by race, truck or car, is Ryan Gormley. He is a driver that I think is earning the respect of everybody he competes with here in the Northwest in the early season start.
And that's what you have to do. Like it's early on in a season, especially with a league, you have to earn the respect. You have to lay the groundwork down. The foundation has to be set that I'm here to stay. I'm a mainstay in this league. I'm not going anywhere. I have speed. I am consistent. Now, when you get to the official side of iRacing, you don't build that camaraderie necessarily as much because I'm sitting at 1,800 iRating. I've lost a bit. So I fell out of the group of people that I was racing with before. So now I'm back in second split, third split. I'm not top split no more. So I have to find my notch with different people. I have to know how to race around them. The bumps are different. People take runs differently. Did you see Roy Grande back here in that 11th place position riding the outside? He's not getting the suck necessarily up here to Paul Newton. I'd be curious to see if maybe he's trying to save a little bit more tire on the outside lane. He's not side drafting either. So we'll see potentially as the race progresses what that outside lane's doing. Right now, I mean, they are 5, 6, 7 car lengths off of each other.
Top 10 as it stands right now in the first quarter of this race. Ryan Bloom leads, Ryan Gormley second, Stephen O'Hare third, Kevin Smith is fourth, Devin West the top 5, Joshua Marcy, Paul Newton, Brett Johnson, Dan West Jr., and William Fletcher in the top 10. Other drivers on the climb include Roy Grande Jr., BJ Duval also climbing. There you see a couple of those cars, Terry, behind the top 10 as they work off 2.
Yeah, put 3 more cars to the outside. They're just not forming together. This might sound dumb, but you need the outside lane to be like Play-Doh. You need it to be stuck perfectly together on the outside because the bottom will never intact. It will always be a thing on the bottom lane to stay in line. Even if you have 4 cars on the bottom like Lego stacked on each other, it is perfect. You will be able to roll as the shortest distance. With the outside lane, now you got Stephen O'Hare going up there, a faster driver in front of Paul Newton. They need those drivers of Grande, Fletcher, Burke, Tedrick, the ones that are up there that's in the third little pack. They need them to get up there and form the line because the 3rd, 4th, 5th car in line, that's what makes your run. It's not the lead car, it's not the second car, it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th driver in that pack that you're going to move and how you're going to move it.
Bloom leading on the inside. Ryan Gormley thinking he's about to make his move. That 2-car tandem pulls away as they go to 3. Another tandem hooking up now, making a 3-car group as Marcy has now caught up with Smith and West on the inside. And look up outside lane. Here comes now O'Hare, Newton closing in there. 30 laps into this, 20 to halfway. And 70 to go. Round 2 tonight at Atlanta. And Bloom is still the man leading the charge off 2.
Yeah, but the 22 of Gormley, he's peaking. He's starting to peak out there. I don't necessarily know if he's intentionally peaking. Maybe he's cooling it down. These B-Series cars, the Xfinity cars, have a hard time staying cool. He's running the Toyota. You have a Chevy in front of him. The noses necessarily don't align the way that you want, the nose to the bumper. So if you stay tucked up for too long, you start to blink a little bit. But this is where I would get on the radio to Ryan Bloom and say, hey, listen, man, I need you 1 inch to 2 inches off the bottom. I'm going to paint that white and red line. You need to go a little bit up, kind of stall the run that the 41 of Stephen O'Hare and that 27 of Paul Newton's getting. Just bear with me here and let me run this, but wherever I go, you go 1 inch or 2 off above or below to give me some air, but don't let the 41 or the 27 get to your outside because then you're in a box and you're not getting out of it.
Holding that spot again. Bloom is the leader. Gormley right there on the inside. O'Hare trying to get something started on the outside lane with Newton. West. By the way, Devin West was the winner of the first Dirt Super Late Model Northwest event at Lima Land. We're at Volusia tomorrow night. Coverage 11:30 Eastern Time. And on the back straightaway, Bloom is now not only, Terry, holding off the likes of Gormley and O'Hare. Lap traffic is in the way as they work on lap 35.
Yeah, and I'm nervous if I'm the 22 right there, him and the 41. They have not been playing nice with each other. It's the 82 he's there, and that almost got scary. I thought that was going to end in a massive wreck, and that took Paul Newton completely out of the top 5. I mean, he just fell clean back to 8th here, and he's dropping like a rock. This is the chaos that this race brings. You have lost. If you're Stephen O'Hare, you've lost your momentum. You've lost everything you needed on that outside lane. Now you just have to side draft and forcefully take it. You know, if you're going to take a spot, you have to drop down as quick as possible if you get an opening. But right here, down the back straightaway, the 5 is going to go all the way up, tuck in. He's going to need the 27 to come up fast.
The slicing and dicing continues, and there is a caution, actually. We were literally about to go side by side. There is now a caution on the racetrack for the 3rd time. Here's what happened. This is James Vining, the 333. Sean Brightsman, the 51 in that mix. All these drivers fighting. Gotta wonder, car up on the apron and got into Vining there.
Why was that a caution?
That's Paulison in 58, I believe. Man.
Yeah, why was that a caution? That was... I mean, he was 45 degrees pointed, but he saved it. That was a whale of a save there.
Paulison getting into James Vining, and that's why we're under caution. Look at this. Here come the leaders onto the pit lane. All pitting. And I'm thinking, Terry, money stop unless we have a plethora of cautions down the stretch. This could be the race. This could be the pit stop where these drivers could go to the finish here to lap 100.
Yeah. I mean, they could, but I tell you what, the way tires are tearing up here, I'm pitting if I get a caution with, you know, even 30 to go, 20 to go, 10 to go. If we go green all the way to then, we get a caution. I will have no option but to go on the pit lane, and I don't care honestly where I even start. If only 20 drivers come in and we got 30 on the lead lap and I'm 10th back, tires will play that big of a dividend, because then you can go to the bottom, you can go to the top, you can change lanes, you can do anything you want. But interesting fact, the driver who pitted on lap 12, Tristan Wood in the 57, is up 32 positions with a little bit of front end damage right there. I will be very interested to see how that 57 machine breaks through the wind here. Can he get the run there on the bottom? He's got a lot of damage. This might be the big one that takes out some massive names.
We're under caution. We'll go side by side and take a quick break. No, we're going to go full box because we're under yellow flag. We'll be back in a moment. Coverage from Atlanta, iRacing, LSRTV, CRN of the Northwest. Fix It RV Setup Series. We're back in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com. 。 .
. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Just back on the restart, green flag of the air, the back straightaway. And here comes the cavalry, back up to speed. Stephen O'Hare, all these drivers now going to have to battle the likes of Tristan Wood. Terry Radford, he is now trying to climb into the field. The 57 coming after Bloom and company. It's O'Hare leading, though, off turn 4.
Yeah, I kind of thought off the initial jump when he stayed out on old tires with damage on the front, damage on the rear, that he was not going to stay there long. I'm going to be really curious to see how long he's able to stay up there with the tires being 25 laps old. The damage doesn't help, but when you're in the draft, you have the opportunity. Oh, no.
Whoa!
Oh, he hung on to her.
Hold on.
Oh,
Ryan Gormley below the apron, keeps it straight. No caution. We stay green, Terry.
Oh, and now he's going to have a whale of a time coming out to the front. I don't want to say this because we have some people in the chat that might take this weird. The suck in this race is crazy fast. I mean, you can be sitting all the way back in the back, coming off of turn 1, down the back straightaway, or coming off of 2, down the back straightaway, and you could be a second and a half. And the suck here going into turn 3, it gets you loose. It makes you fight. Oh, the 57 almost got turned there by the 00. Kevin Smith, he's on the apron. He saves it too, potentially. He said,
hold on, trouble.
Oh,
Tyler King spins in the pack. Stab now, I think, just got T-boned into the 21. And more cars spinning up on the top. Caution out again for the 4th time.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Wow.
See, I knew the chat would. It's like we poll the audience. The moment I said the suck, the first comment is what I said. It was he caught the wall. Oh, nice.
Look at this. And Stab now, nowhere to
Stab
go.
got popped.
Yeah, T-boned him. And then, of course, Daryl Tidrick. Remember Daryl Tidrick, winner last week at Daytona. What a crazy finish for the One Fine Studio team.
What a finish from last week.
Yes, sir.
Well, can he do it again with no nose?
Exactly. By the way, Ryan
Can
Gormley.
the whole field pile up again?
I don't know. We had a crazy finish on Monday night here at Atlanta. Ryan Gormley, by the way, when he spun below the apron, he was right there in the top 5, Terry. He fell all the way back now to 35th. And no doubt about it, he is coming down to the pit lane.
Well, this is a good cue. If you want to come drive through the field like what our buddy Ryan Gormley is going to do in the 22 machine, scan this QR code that's on the bottom right of your screen to join iRacing. It's a great opportunity. I talked about it a while ago, Wesley. Gen 4 cars back on iRacing. You got the ARCA series. You got the IMSA series. You got open wheel series. You got NASCAR Trucks Xfinity Cup. You got dirt late models. Super late models are new. We have the new Cars Tour scan from last year's champion Carson Quapple. His scan is on the iRacing platform today. New members get a 40% discount, but there are always sales going on throughout the year. You got the Christmas sale, the winter sale, you got the summer sale, you got Valentine's Day sale. It doesn't matter. They got a sale for everything. Be a part of iRacing. Scan the QR code or go to www.iracing.com today to be on the greatest sim on the planet.
Some of the cars in the back coming onto the pit lane. Jeff Stab now. We got to wonder how much damage is on his car. Tyler King, Gary Nichols is still pitting. And now Stephen O'Hare, the man up in front in that car number 41. Devin West on the outside. They're getting the one to go indication. They're doubling up here. We'll get ready to go back to the green flag. By the way, speaking of iRacing on LSRTV, tomorrow we've got dirt racing coverage for you. Doubleheader tomorrow night. We got the final night of course, the Kentucky Dirt iRacing League finale, Sunshine State 50 at Volusia. And if Volusia wasn't enough for that KDIL event, Super Late Model finale, the Northwest Dirt Super Late Model Series will also be at Volusia for round number 2. Coverage begins at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and 11:30 Eastern Time. Tomorrow night, iRacing on LSRTV. Terry, getting ready for the restart here. We'll try this again. What were your thoughts?
Well, to answer the question out there from Brandon Walter, this track does have lights in the real world, but it doesn't it doesn't have lights on iRacing. It doesn't have lights
so
here.
You can see the lights. You can see the lights. They just haven't done the update where you can run at night, right?
It is the weirdest thing in the world. No, you cannot run here at night. You can, but I promise you ain't going to see nothing. Lights don't exist here. I don't understand it. Me and the guys who were literally in this chat, I told them I was coming to do a broadcast, and then they jumped over here. But we were running the Cadillacs here with headlights, and that was the most funnest racing with the traction control. As the pace car is off, Stephen O'Hare, Devin West leads us to the green with Ryan Bloom and Kevin Smith top 4.
Back to green. And O'Hare this time, as we are approaching halfway, will get that hole shot and bring him back to speed into the corner into turn number 1 and 2. Look at now Bloom falling back to third. Awesome camera angles. Feel the roar from Atlanta as they come back to green. O'Hare coming off that corner. Be nice if we had the full cameras back again. With O'Hare now bringing it back off into the corner. West to second, Bloom to third. Smith, Teets now. Here's a name, Sam Teets, Terry, that we didn't really know that much about, that's starting to climb into the top 5, that orange, yellow and blue car.
Well, it's funny, you said his name, and right when you said his name, he was halfway sideways. I wish we could get an onboard shot with some of these drivers in this back to show the disturbance of what we see here. Because these drivers are going every which way here on this racetrack. We go on board, I believe this is with Marcy in the 35, my Tennessee friend right there in that camo Tennessee tee on there. I know Colton Lane out there in the chat is a big Tennessee fan as well, but look here. He's cracking the throttle. He's actually a lot slower than what we saw Stephen O'Hare when we went on board with him on lap 20. He's on the bottom. He's at 7,000 RPMs, so he's looking at a very creepy, I think that's Minions and some eyeballs coming at him. I'm not sure I want to push him in that forward. That's creepy.
Draft to hit him the right way from the rear. That's all I'm going to say. If we come to halfway next time by.
Still
up the bank and into turn number 3. Look at Cooper. Look at Cooper now, starting to get something started here. He's been kind of quiet tonight, Terry, as they come to the cross flags. 75 miles down, 75 miles to go, and 50 laps remaining of 100.
Yeah, that outside lane just doesn't have a form. I don't know why it hasn't yet. They're making me seem like a liar up here when I said that the outside lane would be predominant once we got a long run in. I mean, we really have not got a long run in, so I don't feel too dumb. But if it's any indication in these B cars or what the A cars did yesterday in the Coke Series, that outside lane will become the most dominant line on this racetrack. You're going to see the handling go away. So, guys, in the CLICKIT RV Fix Series, give me 30 laps. Prove to the fans that I'm not crazy, that the outside lane will be the place to go. It'll be the premier spot like Club 51 in Savannah. Get to the outside lane and go rip it up there.
O'Hare is still the leader. West in second. Let's give you your top 20, Terry and I, after halfway. Stephen O'Hare leads, Devin West second, Ryan Bloom is third, Kevin Smith is fourth, and now Sam Teets, the top 5. Joshua Marcy sixth, Aaron Cooper seventh, Dan West Jr. in trouble, big trouble, off of turn 2, back straightaway. They have wadded him up in that corner, Terry. All I saw was smoke and chaos. Yellow was out for the 5th time.
Caution, was this caution number 5 over the racetrack here this afternoon? We take a look at the replay.
Watch the replay.
I see a Hard Rock vodka car up there in the 36. I got a bottle sitting next to me. I'm sure if we continue to wreck, I might crack the top of that one, but I got to work in 5 hours, so we'll see how that goes for me. They're in 1 and 2. Nobody's wanting to lift. He just lost it on his own.
Yeah, Jaden Ledbetter, and of course the 12 there, Briar Reynolds. And then after that, Terry, it just wadded him up. Troy Daggett.
How did he lose
Sean
it on his own right there?
Wow. On board. On board with
Just
Briar Reynolds here in the 12.
Did he crack the throttle? Like what? He's behind. He's behind on the outside. He's into 1. He's loose. Oh, and then it looks like he got tagged.
I wonder if Ledbetter, I don't know, maybe riding on board with Ledbetter might be a better angle of it. I wonder if he might have got into him there, or if it was just a side draft of air gone wrong there, Terry, coming off of that corner.
Well, it's just weird because when we were sitting on board, and we'll go on board here with Ledbetter, but you see the 12 when he gets, he's steady-ish here, right? Like he's holding it. He comes through the tri-oval. He's holding it. Ledbetter's already loose too. I mean, everybody in this field's been slideways all race long. Look at him. Here they come into 1. He overcorrects up top, and then bam, right in the corner
got the left rear.
And that's a product of this racing. I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second, if you don't mind. Just 20 seconds of my soapbox of, we're on lap 55. Like, this is 55 laps into this race. We have 45 laps to go. You're not winning the damn race on lap 55. You're not. If you're winning the race on lap 55, give me lottery numbers too. Give me lottery numbers and come race on my sim rig and get my iRating up to a pro license. Lift. Burp the throttle. Why are you full throttle if you're Jaden Ledbetter right there on the outside lane behind the 12 car that's already sideways? You're watching him loose in 1. You're watching him loose in 3. You're watching him again loose in the tri-oval. If he's loose all the way around this racetrack, what's the one thing you're not going to do, Wesley? You're not going to push him. Why would you get up on his back bumper in the middle of the corner and push him?
I love some of the comments. Brandon Walter said Atlanta Dega or Talalanta. I
just don't get it. I don't get if you watch somebody loose in front of you, you have to check out of it. Like, you cannot sit there and stay on the back bumper of that car and think that the situation is going to be different. If I watch you, Wesley Outland, go into turn 1 and you're halfway, their back end is up touching the wall and your front nose is pointing towards pit road, I'm not about to push you. Like, I'm not going to get up on your bumper and go, hey, let me shove you around this racetrack, see if you can hold it. Because the moment I do that, we're all wrecking. I don't want to do that here. And no, we do not have lights. Do the lights have lights? Maybe they do. I think the lights do have lights.
So here's the deal. Atlanta does have lights, and the old Atlanta iRacing event had night racing, yes, but this new paved track does not race at night. You can see the lights up, but obviously that's something I think, Terry, you're buddies with the powers that be at iRacing. Let's put the light poles up. Let's light them up here when they do another Week 13 update. We're ready for a restart.
I mean, let's get some lights out here. Let's put Super Speedway under the lights. Stephen O'Hare, he's loving the cautions, Wesley, because, well, all he has to do is hit the gas one time and get through the gears.
Terry, they technically do race at Atlanta in the nighttime in July.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Back to green.
We can all pray for it. I mean, iRacing does most aspects for us. So we'll put him out there
Whoa,
again.
look at Marcy.
He's got a fan out there too. Jonathan Byer says LFG Marcy. I'll let the fans in the chat tell me what LFG stands for. But that 35's making some moves. He's up to the 6th place position. That's the highest he's been all race long. He's got the 71 of Aaron Cooper, who's been fast up front. We'll see if he's able to get the outside or the bottom lane rolling as he's starting to get past on the outside here.
Over 40 laps to go here at Atlanta. On the restart to the back straightaway, and now O'Hare showing his opportunity and strengths of leading like Ryan Bloom did in probably the opening 30 laps of this race.
Not sure I would, if I'm anybody watching, I wouldn't sleep on that 25 machine of Ryan Bloom. You just got to sit and think. How many laps is he going to lead before he clicks off a bunch of wins this season? Like, when the 25 clicks the win off, I know we only race Daytona, but if he clicks a win off here today, if I'm the rest of the field, you're on notice. You go down to your right or your left or your keyboard or wherever you had, you write Ryan Bloom won a race, and then you just keep that there. Because he's going to win a ton. When we get to the 1.5 miles that aren't super speedways, when we get to the short tracks, we get to a road course, I'm looking at him and Paul Newton, and I'm saying at 25 is one to watch, regardless of the track we're sitting at, that he's there.
O'Hare working off of turn 4, west behind, so is Bloom. And they are going to the double apron on the racetrack down below that red line. And we're 40 to go. Oh, there's contact. Bloom about just shoved West up the hill. And here comes Smith on the outside saying coming through. 40 to go.
Well, the only way to let the outside lane start to cook this early in a run is to do what Ryan Bloom just did to that 5 machine. Put a bumper to him. Put a bumper to the guy on the bottom. And get him squirrely, get him loose, make him figure it out. That outside lane will start to generate a little bit more momentum. Not a whole lot of drivers up there, though. It's very crazy to see this. Hey, by the way, another fast driver's out there in the chat, Link Peterson. He thinks the 55 wins it tonight. So Dan West Jr. might be the guy that pulls it out as he's up there battling for the lead. Second car on the outside row with Kevin Smith on his front bumper.
Definitely different, not seeing. Oh, they got a car in the wall. Up into the wall. Holding it together. Is that Paulison? Tedrick, 45, Daytona winner. How much damage is on that car as he lost it? He's way, Terry, off the pace.
I'm not counting the guy out. I mean, he won last week in the midst of a firestorm. The entire field was wrecked. He got wrecked. He drove through it, took the win by 5.9 seconds on the field at Daytona. I think this race is up for anybody. Everybody in this pack right here, all the way back to the one that just crossed the start-finish line, has an opportunity to win this race because it's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when we wad this field up. And coming to 1 to go, if you're not giving it your all and wrecking the entire field by pushing as hard as you can, is this really a plate track then? Because you kind of got to wad them to finish here.
What happened on Monday night? Absolutely unbelievable. Dan Lowther doing just that in double overtime. And remember, by the way, we haven't really hit it on it that much as they just roar by Tyler King below the bottom of the apron. There is 3 attempts at a green-white checker if necessary. But right now, coming to the line, 35 laps to go here at Atlanta. O'Hare, West, Smith, Bloom. Right there with Dan West Jr. as well. That's father and son, 2nd and 4th. We got a car on the wall. Another one smacking the wall. That was the black car up out of turn 4. I think he kept going, Terry. Will stay green.
Yeah, that wall kind of bites you when you're coming through the trial, when you don't necessarily realize that it's there. I just put triple monitors up over here on my sim rig and made my own broadcast rig, and it's an adjustment to know where the wall is in relations to where I'm at sitting in the sim. So I'm sure there's something in this when you're going through this tri-oval at a high speed. That wall takes you. It grabs you. Like, it literally feels like you're getting pulled in 2 or 3 different directions because you have the car to the inside.
Kind of like Darlington.
It's starting to, kind of like Darlington. You have a car to your inside that's pulling you to the left, and you have the wall that's pulling you to the right, and you have to sit there and literally yank the wheel. I mean, you are sitting there fighting this wheel away around. I ran 20 laps in this B car around here. I came out of my sim rig soaking wet. Like, I had no feel. Oh, no. Oh, there's the 2. That's Fraser. He's back up the track.
Hold on, guys.
They're all wrecking.
Wadded him up again. That's, oh, my.
Wow.
Well,
What was
yellow flag number 6.
that?
You were saying, Terry, sweating it out? They're sweating it out.
Well, that's
Robert Gamble, by the way.
Because the two of Fraser caught the apron, and he slid back up this racetrack. Now, I'm going to be curious to see how he slid back up the racetrack. Like, you see, he's down there. He just goes right back up in the 7, loses it. But I think he was just correcting. I think he was correcting there because he thought that the 2 was going to come back and wipe the field. So he was trying to back it down and just lost it.
That's the 7 of Brett Johnson. Obviously, Jeff Stabnow. Poor Toby Ritters. Here's another look at the replay again at full song coming through the dog leg here. Back up the bank in here in turn 1.
Oh, that was
And there
Marcy.
you see him just bonsai off another car there. That might have been what started all of this chaos. Number 2, Seth Fraser. He's the culprit there, Terry.
I know we're not supposed to ask the producer to back this up for us, but can we back this up just to lap where the 2 and the 35? Because you want to talk about taken. That's taken. Because guess what? There is no out of bounds here. There is none.
That's right.
If you go below that red and white line, the car on the bottom has no obligation to let you back up. And the 2 came up to take the 35 back out. But the 35 said, no, sir. No, I'm not letting you back up. You made the choice to go down there. You made your bed. You sleep in it. If you want to go down there and run that out of bounds, go to the grass, fine. But you're not coming back up in front of me. You're not coming back up behind me. You're not taking the spot to check me up. And that was that's a bold move.
That was a nice blocker moment, if you will, a nice blocking moment.
Yeah, that was a everybody who had a fast repair that used it early. That was what that was. It just cleaned half of the house out. That was like partial spring cleaning, Wesley.
I like that. 30 laps to go when they come to the line. Hey, by the way, don't forget, join LSRTV on Facebook and the YouTube feed for the Press Box Motorsports podcast. Join Charles Wooten, Brockton Packard, and a whole host of others talking about the world of virtual and reality of racing. Of course, check your local listings on our social platforms to know when that show will be. The Press Box Motorsports podcast. Hey, real shout out to Brian Morehouse and the fine folks at Virginia 811 Call Before You Dig. Caution summary down below to the bottom left. So far, I've kept track of it. The cautions, there they are, Terry. 6. 17 laps under yellow of 100 laps so far with 30 to go. Lead changes are 3. That's presented by Virginia 811 Call Before You Dig. Dig with care.
Well, if we're learning anything under these cautions, it's what the chat has. As Kyle Wimble says, I sleep in my jeans. So we're learning a lot about our fans who watch here. Colton Lane, he doesn't make his bed and he still sleeps in it. So he's the polar opposite of what I said. Don't make your bed, whatever, who cares? You're gonna sleep in it at the end of the night. But
Oh,
We're
my goodness.
recycling this series. With,
We might
with
have to
6
delete some of the
cautions
chat
for 17
conversation.
laps.
Well, it's like becoming PG-13 in there, Terry.
It's a madhouse. My mom's in there. She's joined in on the on the list of people. That's just I like it. I mean, as long as we got fans talking, green flags back in the air. Stefan O'Hare's loving every bit of these cautions because we're coming down to the end, and he's one of the 3 leaders that's led this thing. Nobody else but him, Bloom, and what was the 27, or not the 27, but the 57s led this race.
29 laps to go, and back to the restart. They work off the speed of the back straightaway.
Oh,
Into 3.
shoot.
Oh, hold on. Oh, my. Carl Berg, Dan Lowther, others crash. Log jam session in turn 3. And another pile up, and we're back under yellow. My.
Whoa. What a hit. That was right on our camera.
I think, Charles, your camera's been taken out.
Well, we'll see what happened. All we saw was the 53 going
Carl
hard
Berg,
at the wall. And
yeah, look at this. Carl Berg
did
down
he
below
clear
the
himself?
apron
He
here,
cleared
Terry.
himself.
And then he just shoots back
Cleared
up the
himself.
track.
Oh,
And Terry,
God.
Troy Daggett and
Get the
others
brake.
nowhere to go, man. Wow. And the poor camera that Charles got is destroyed.
Now you're pitting. You remember what I said? Remember
Yes, sir.
what I said? Somebody's
Oh,
going to pit here. Somebody's gonna be the one to do it. They're on old tires. No takers, except for the drivers back there, 14th on back. Brett Johnson, Frank Harris, look at him in the top 15. Don't sleep on Frank. He was the leader in warm-up, in practice. Get to cover it, but he was the leader. He was the fastest guy. So he's in 15th. The 51 of Brett Grunwald, he's there in 16th. Russ Lundberg's there on fresh tires. Ryan Gormley's back in 19th. He's worked his way back up. He is all the way back in the 19th position he pitted on lap 69. So circle that number right there because he's the first car on the freshest tires other than the drivers who got caught up in the incident here on lap 74. This is it.
Again, though, Terry, everybody psyched one another coming down to the pits. I think that some of these guys feel we're not done wrecking yet. There's a wave around, and here comes the 21 of the Band-Aid car, Tyler King. I believe he's going to get back on the lead lap possibly now. Put the 21 back to the lead lap. We'll try this again here. Whew, 3/4 of the way through.
This is fun. Like this is strategy on steroids because you have 4 or 5 different dynamics that come into this race. You have tire wear, you have the track position, you've got handling, you've got positioning on the outside, the inside. Do you go below the dog leg in the tri-oval? What do you do for the Klondike bar? What do you do to win this thing? I was so pumped up for Atlanta. I drank a Coke Zero today because I needed to try it first. And so here we sit.
I need to try it first.
Yeah. But we got 25 laps to go. It'll be 24 when we come to this line. If you're the 41, you're blocking hard. If you're the 5 or the 51, who, by the way, people out there in the chat, those are teammates. This might be the 5 and the 55 show here. Father-son duo.
Right.
They're up there on that outside lane. We haven't seen them up there yet. See what they can do. They can make triple fives.
Well, it will be exactly 25 laps to go when they come back to the Geico restart zone for the resumption of this race. Stefan O'Hare, Devin West on that front row. We'll see how all this shakes up. Pace car dropping down onto the pit lane. Here comes the thundering herd virtually, ready to bring them back to speed. And you settle in 3 quarters down with 25 to go. Shootout time, pucker time. Put those virtual chess pieces in order, Terry, for checkmate to decide who's winning at Atlanta. They're back into 1 and 2.
Well, I tell you, that outside lane did not get going. I'm not 100% sure what happened right there, but it let them slide into 2nd and 4th. So while they are not tag teaming on that outside lane, they're on the bottom. It puts the 5 and Devin West. Kevin Smith maybe worked the deal out and said, I'll let you in front of me. The same thing there with Ryan Bloom at the 25 is get in line. We figure it out. We'll race this to the end. No sense in wrecking each other now. Lap 77's there, only 1 car to that outside lane.
Off of 2. Inside, bottom of the racetrack, as Terry mentioned, you can go below that red-white line, and it is all fair game. Look at Duval making a climb now, the pink 32 W entry. Heartbreak last week at Daytona for not only the trucks but Xfinity, and he was trying to make some noise. Now he climbs into 5th. Getting Nancy behind the Marcy 35, Terry. He's coming back to the front, lap 78.
I'm not saying I'm cheering for the guy that's got the Tennessee hat on, but I got my Tennessee hat on, my Orange Bowl championship shirt. Thanks, Mom, out there in the chat for the shirt, and my Tennessee Volunteer shorts. I'm ready to go. Even got the tattoo on my calf. I want to see a Tennessee boy win this race. That power T sounds good, but looking right here with BJ Duvall up on the outside, 6th place position, fighting for 5th. He's side by side, coming into turns 1 and 2. He's cooking. Fastest lap
and Terry
30.0.
And Terry, he is making the outside lane work maybe better than any other driver so far in this race.
Well, I think we're going to have to put that. Nobody really tried it. Nobody figured it out yet. Like, nobody understood that you could sit there and pinch the bottom lane from the middle. Like, you can literally scare that bottom lane enough that they bobble on that apron and have to check up a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see, what does Paul Newton do? What does the 35 of Marcy do? What does that crane do on that outside lane? They're on old tires now. Like, now we're going on 50 laps on here. So we will see. Do they pinch harder? You see that BJ pitched 55 all the way down to the bottom of that lap car. Here we go. It's under 20 to go.
20 laps to go now. This time by O'Hare is the leader. West 2nd. Here comes Duval alongside DWJ and Ryan Bloom back into the top 5. Back straightaway. Up, look at this, Terry. Marcy says, you want to come up on the top and play? I'll take you with me. Come on, guys, let's get a pack started. And so will Fletcher.
Yeah, well, Paul Newton left. Paul Newton left that outside lane. He went right down to the bottom. It didn't feel like they were necessarily moving the way that he wanted. His car in the back in the wall. I don't know who that was, but you just have to feel that a wreck is ensuing. You know, we're coming to 18 laps to go. You're going to push a little harder. You're going to push somebody outside of their comfort zone. You don't necessarily want to take the pushes in the corners. You don't want to side draft as hard as the 30, oh, Duvall, as the 32 is that 55, but here we set. You have to take the push where you get the push. It doesn't matter where you get it. You got to start going now.
18 laps to go. And boy, oh boy, they are becoming very aggressive down the stretch. O'Hare and West, single file. That's Sun Devon. Meanwhile, they are 2 by 2 behind them with West's father on the inside. Behind is Bloom trying to run down Smith as well as Duval. Marcy from 11th in 2 laps up to 5th now. 17 to go to the back stretch. Another lap car to the bottom of Tyler King off 2.
You don't want to let that outside lane go, and you're encouraging the drivers that are sitting there next to Paul Newton and the 28 of Fletcher to come up here and push me. That's all you're saying at this moment. You're saying, get your behind up here and shove us to this. Make it a pendulum effect where if I back off of that BJ Duvall in the 32, you're pushing the 35 of Marcy, and you just continuously keep doing that until you see the lead. They're up to the quarter panel of second at the 5 of Devin West, coming off the corner though down the back straightaway. He's there, but he's not there enough. He has to be able to get to the outside and be able to push him down all the way to that red line. He doesn't have the pull right now.
15 to go at the line. Inside, West trying to get to O'Hare. Here comes Duvall on the outside. He'll carry Marcy with him, and they're about to go 3 wide as they go by the left car stab now. Marcy dirt tracking it. He knows how to dirt track it. The West Virginian battling Smith for the back straightaway.
Take a look here. Here comes that internet connection issue again from Kevin Smith. This could be the highlight of the race, and I hope fans are still tuned in when 15 laps are over, because if that 00 continuously keeps blinking, what does the 55 of West do? What does Wet Dan West Jr. do in that situation when you see a driver blinking in front of you? You don't know what lane he's in. You don't know where to go. Does he potentially try to force it 3 wide, take that 00 and put him to the outside lane? All it takes is one push on that bottom lane to completely end everybody else's race.
Loving that camera angle. Great work in the truck by Charles Wooten. And that was behind Devin West's rear deck lid, showing Kevin Smith looking inside, outside. Son having father Dan West Jr. in his tail lights as well. And also BJ Duvall. All of these cars fighting for spots. 13 to go. O'Hare holding off this hungry pack of wolves into turn 3.
Still holding them off, but the inside lane starting to falter just a little bit. You see the top 3 as we look at the pit road cam coming towards us. Now we see the opening top. This is from the high up top, the Atlanta Motor Speedway coming into turn 1. Not the outside lane we saw a little bit earlier. As now you see the 79 of Pete. He put himself up there as 35 of Marcy, went to the bottom, left that outside lane after dry. There has been no outside lane pass yet tonight that we've seen. So what do we see now is, oh my gosh, there's the 22 of Gormley. He's back in this race inside the top 10.
Wow. Right there behind Teets. 11 to go. Coming up on lap 90 on the scoring pylon next time around. When, Terry, when do you break out of line and make that move? When do you wait? Because a lot of people think the new Atlanta is a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega. When do you finally say, okay, I'm not going to ride anymore. It's time for me to come to the front like a Duvall, like a Gormley, like a Marcy, like a, by the way, 10 to go.
I mean, not yet. I'm not going now. If you're
okay.
I'll say this because of my experience so far in the sim. If you're not inside the top 6, you're not winning this race. But I agree with Lake Peterson. 3 laps to go. I'm taking the run for it. 3 wide here is not fun. It is just not fun. You cannot feel the car. Like you lose all feeling when it's 4 or 5 laps to go with, Teets got pushed out of the way. So keep it in the wall. Keep it in the wall, son. Don't come down in front of this field. Let's keep her green.
We stay green. Great job by Sam Teets to smack the outside safer barrier off the back straightaway and keeps it up on the wall to not cause a caution here. Under 10 remaining, single digits now, 8 to go at the line. O'Hare, and look at them slicing and dicing. Someone is going to win this race. The only question is who, as Duvall dirt tracks it again, smacks the barrier. Gormley 3 wide to the middle out of 2.
I think that right there just killed the outside lane's chances of winning this race. If you were up there on that outside lane right here, you're done. Your race is over. You just fell outside that top 7, top 8. It's over. I go all the way back to potentially Marcy in the 35 to win this race. I mean, top 6 right at this moment, because you now have to build up enough momentum on that outside lane. You have to be able to generate something. I mean, just anything that you can do on that outside lane. The bottom has just been stout. I mean, O'Hare, West, Smith, West, Bloom has just been inseparable together on that bottom lane. It's going to take an absolute miracle to uproot them, but I tell you what, you start to see nothing with 5 to go. Like, you don't care anymore. I see the back bumper as a target to move you out of my way. And here, coming in the corner, you shove them into 1, you shove them into 3. They're not holding that bottom. They're carrying too much speed. I would say if I'm the 5, start punting a little bit here, because you make Stephen O'Hare get off that bottom real fast.
That's Paul Newton in the top 10. Here comes Fletcher on the bottom, trying to run down Aaron Cooper. Marcy Lowther, the Monday night winner, and more. He's in 7th. 5 to go here in Atlanta. Off to 1. Marcy on the top. He's trying to get something going again, Terry.
Yeah, I just don't see. I see Gormley here. He's going to jump to that outside lane. He's going to try to get around Ryan Bloom. Not sure how this is going to work. He's got speed. We see it. He goes in the corner. He's starting to pick up some spots. But as they get single file back down here on this bottom, it's going to be hard to make the moves happen. But I agree with what our friend out there, like Peterson, said. Don't be shocked if the 55 and the 5 step out a line here rather soon.
That's right.
3 laps, 2 laps to go. I would be 1,000% shocked if the 55 didn't take the run with the shot from the 25 of Ryan Bloom to that outside pick up the 5.
3 laps to go when they come out of turn 4, back to through the dog leg. And the father-son West team, no doubt about it, not only teammates, but father and son. Someone will break out of line. Not yet. 3 to go. Here comes West peeking on the bottom. Smith couldn't go nowhere. Look at Gormley now battling Bloom.
Here we go down the back straightaway, and I'm going to do this. I know this is kind of crazy, but Whopper, 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 Whopper. That's I'm hungry, so I'm thinking at this moment you're racing a Burger King, right? You got it. You're coming to 2 laps to go here. You make your move now. If you're making a move, this is when you start to make it. You formulate the idea in your head as here it is. There goes the 5 to the outside. They took the 0-0 with him.
Smith outside.
He got
contact
it.
off O'Hare. O'Hare. David, he spins into the back. Marcy is airborne. Flying, flipping. O'Hare crashing. Carl Burke, William Fletcher, Carl Burke, everyone. The field comes apart, Terry, and we're going to overtime. Wow.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That all started from the 0-0 outside lane when the 5 got clear. 5's going to get clear here for the race lead, and we're on board with Marcy here in the 35 machine on the outside lane. You'll see the move coming in your picture here in just a second. Outside, bam, apron, and yep, I'm flying through the air. That's not cool.
Wow. And in the chat box by Lake Peterson, all he says is no. And by the way, Lake Peterson, former winner here at Atlanta. Look at this again, Terry. Was it too soon?
A goat. No.
Was it too soon to break the part and try to go for the win, Terry?
No, it was just a bit of an aggressive side draft if you're the 0-0. I mean, you have to. I'm not criticizing his move. I love what he did. I mean, you see the 5's going to clear. It's going to take the air off the 41. The 0-0 just kind of came down and was like, bro, I pushed you to the lead. Like, I pushed you to the lead.
Yeah.
Why did you leave me? And the 5, if you're the 5, you're like, the bottom is the only spot that kind of gave you the opportunity. But look at who's second right now. If we pan up to our second place, look who's second. We haven't talked about this man all race long. That's the 63 of Dan Lather. Mr. Where did he come from? No idea.
Winner Monday night.
Lake Peterson says thanks. Who did we talk about all last season, Wesley?
How dominant Lake Peterson was. Hands
How
down,
dominant
the
Lake
GOAT of the
Peterson
Northwest
was,
was the number 9 Hooters car. Why are you not here, by the way, Lake Peterson?
Why aren't you racing? We would be talking Lake Peterson right now. Like, he was the guy. He started his season last year, and I could say it over and over again, with the win in the most controversial podium 500s ever. He wins the dang thing. Nobody had ever heard of Lake Peterson. Goes through this whole controversy, and then comes to the Northwest, brings eyes over here, and just dominates this field in trucks and cup. It didn't matter, dominated him. If you don't know who Lake Peterson is, you need to know who he is, because he's incredible, very, very fast driver. Be curious to see how many races he shows up over here, because that would be my pick every time we show up to any of these calls. I would have the 9 of Lake Peterson.
Somebody asked Terry if you could go to the LSRTV cutaway car.
I mean, I wish I had a car in here.
Oh my God!
I wish if we had a cutaway car, we would go to it.
Well, Terry, we were just told in our ear from our producer that the cutaway car was Joshua Marcy's cutaway car. However, it's being impounded by the Northwest iRacing officials for further evaluation after that crash.
I mean, the way that thing caught air, I would be shocked if we didn't find something there that wasn't right. But I tell you, if Dan Lather wins this race, if that 63 on the outside lane wins this race,
wow,
I would be a little shocked, right? Because the damage he has on that right rear would just throw me completely off if I'm the 71 of Aaron Cooper.
And,
by
Terry,
the way,
yes, I think you're reading my mind. Go ahead.
Aaron Cooper's up there on the outside.
Look at that. And Paul Newton, the road course king. And Paul Newton, the road course king. And by the way, 3 attempts at a green-white checker. We might wad him up again, Terry, and go at it again for another overtime. It took 2 to find Lowther as the winner on Monday night.
There's no doubt.
Here we go.
We're wrecking these things good.
We'll see. Green flag back out. A lot of new name faces up in these places to win at Atlanta. But one more time, Devin West scampers away from the field. Cooper now trying to get under Bloom.
Bloom's going to win it.
West is up in front.
That was the nail in the coffin.
Back straight away into that third turn. West on the inside. Here they come, swallowing him up now. Here comes Lowther on the outside lane. He's got to run on his own, Terry, as they come for the white flag this time by.
Why didn't Ryan Bloom take the run that Aaron Cooper gave him? He stayed in line with the 5 of West, not criticizing it. The 5 got a massive jump as we're wrecking in the backfield. It doesn't matter. We're racing to the checkered flag. We're going here, but when does the 25 make the move down the back straightaway? Even 3 and 4 for the final time.
Bloom, here he comes. He throws the block on Lowther. Lowther, he's going to go 3 wide. He can't get there. Devin West now holds off Aaron Cooper inside, outside, below the apron. Devin West inside, holding him off all single file below the white line, and he will win round 2. If Ryan Bloom, Terry, could do it all over again, what would be done different? Wow.
I'm taking the run that Aaron Cooper gave me down the back straightaway going into 3. He peaked. He peaked for a second. He thought he was going to take it. He did not take it. I mean, if you're Ryan Bloom, you had the win. I mean, you had the win. There's no doubt in my mind that the 25 was going to win this race when the 5 jumped. Like, the 5 jumped, and Lake Peterson agreed with me 100%. You have to take that run. If you didn't take that run right there, your race was over. He finished his 6th for not taking it. That was why? You dominated this race. You had the fastest car. I mean, I know he wanted the 5 probably to win, and I'd be curious to pick his brain at the end of this of why he didn't take it. But why?
Well, here is the celebration now. The Northwest High Five salute awaits the number 5 for Shelton, Washington's Devin West. Down below the flag stand, Paul Newton gives him a little shot to the front, and the celebration will begin for him. By the way, 2nd different winner, and in the 4 races of the Northwest this year, 4 for 4. in the year for the trucks and the Northwest Fixed Setup Series. Here is the results. Devin West, the winner. Aaron Cooper, second. Paul Newton, third. Brett Johnson, fourth. Dan Lowther, fifth. Monday night winner. Ryan Bloom, sixth. Robert Gamble, seventh. Toby Ritter's eighth. Chris White is ninth. Dan West Jr. will finish after the big wreck in the top 10. 11th will go to Seth Frazier. Stephen O'Hare, 12th. Sean Brightsman, 13th. Frank Harris is 14th. Daryl Tidrick, Daytona winner, 15th. Tristan Wood, 16th. Stephen Paulison, 17th. Dylan Kane, 18th. Tyler Kim, Russ Lundberg. Terry, your top 20 as you give the rest of the finish of 43.
Go back to 21st. You got Jaden Ledbetter, William Fletcher, Ambrose Nebel, Chris Kynes, Ryan Gormley, Brett Grunwald, BJ Javal, Sam Teets, Joshua Marcy in 29th, and Kevin Smith in 30th after a big wreck. Gary Nichols, Zach Rush, Dana Rogers, Jeff Stabnow with the bad run here, Carl Burke, Tyler King, Roy Grande, Troy Daggett, Briar Reynolds, and BJ Tidrick 40th. And your final three cars, Ron Hunter, James Vining, and Chad Malik. Rounds out the 43-car field here this afternoon.
Let's take a look one more time at the CLICKIT RV Setup Series race presented by Virginia. 811 call before you dig. Caution summary. 8 cautions, 1 attempt at overtime, 24 caution laps under yellow flag. That means 76 laps plus a couple of extra for a total distance of 105 laps, 5 lead changes. Devin West is the winner. We'll grab a word with the top 3 and take you to the Press Box Motorsports Podcast post-race show next. This is iRacing on LSRTV and CRN. We're back in a moment.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Press Box Motorsports Podcast. The finish of the race, Devin West is the winner. Top 3 in the books are done. Brett Johnson, 3rd place, man. Listen, you got wrecked early. You come back, you rally, you finish on the podium. I know they've not officially updated the stats this year, but looking at what you did from last year, this is probably your best finish of your career so far in the Northwest. 3rd place tonight in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll take it. Just hung in there, and it was bananas.
So yes, so even with that, we're going into next week a little bit different than what we've seen in the first 2 weeks when we saw plate track and then another plate track. But we get a little bit more normal, or so would say. Does the season really begin next week?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, these are just a luck of the draw and surviving. So, yeah, it'll be nice to get to a more normal racing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brett, this race definitely wild. Man, this has got to be a nice booster for you to definitely have confidence, if you will, to try to climb the podium and try to get that win for the series, no doubt.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, usually middle of the packer, and every once in a while things go your way, and so yeah, it's look forward to keeping it going.
Sponsors, bud.
Yeah, big shout out to CLICKIT RV. Obviously, you guys at LSRTV, great job, and obviously Jeff and Sean and all the guys, Dan, Devin. Shout out to Devin, great win there. Thanks, guys.
That's Brett Johnson, the number 7. And when it's all said and done, he will finish in 3rd. Runner-up of the race, Paul Newton. Paul, your 2nd, bud. Your take of this race, crazy, wild finish. A guy that's normally a road course king. You normally dominate the road courses. You are slowly but surely getting closer and closer. I think it's the 2nd time we've talked to you on the podium this year with a top 3 finish.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you have confidence in my abilities, because these races are a little bit random, but it was all about missing the wrecks today, just like it was at Daytona, and I did a good job to miss those wrecks, so I think that's the main reason why I'm talking to you now.
Well, I'll kind of ask you the same question I asked Brett there. Is your season necessarily didn't start at Daytona, and I don't think it really started here. Going forward this season with a different car, the plate package is kind of the same at every track we go to that is just wide open. But once we get to these more technical tracks, does that maybe fit in your wheelhouse of the saving tire, kind of put you in that position that your road course prowess could win a couple ovals this year?
Well, you would think so, maybe, but that's something I really have to work on, saving tires and just sticking around for the end of the races in these oval races. I mean, the drafting tracks are one thing, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're, 60 laps into a tire run at a track where you got to lift through the turns, and that's just something I'm going to have to work on all year. But there's a couple of, definitely some ovals that I'm looking forward to on the schedule this year. Some of them drive a little like road courses, and I think those played my strengths a little bit.
Yeah, because the disappointing thing is here, Paul, there's not much road courses on the schedule this year.
No, I saw that. I think I'm getting targeted there. I am looking forward to the GT3 series in midsummer here, though. So road courses aren't entirely gone.
Well, buddy, before we let you go, thank your sponsors, and again, a phenomenal job here tonight. Again, another podium.
All right, thanks, guys. I want to thank PaulNewtonDesign.com, Trading Paints, Peels California Mandarins, and I want to thank my team, Beaver State Racing, and I want to thank the Northwest Racing Series, LSRTV, and CLICKIT RV.
There you go. There's the thoughts of Paul Newton again. 2nd place, again, another podium for the Northwest so far in the last 2 weeks. And now we go to Victory Lane. Winner of the first ever Dirt Northwest Super Late Model Series race at Lima Land last Thursday night. Carries that momentum into a win here tonight for round number 2 of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series. Congratulations, Devin West. High chaos virtual situation there, especially down the final 15, 20 laps. What was it like trying to hold these guys off and, of course, making the move when you did before O'Hare crashed and thinking your dad's going to run there with you? Was there a plan to be a tag team? And your thoughts of taking this win to be now the 2nd different winner on the series?
Yeah, it was chaos, and honestly, I am shocked that I am here. These races are so hard to win, man. It really is, 50% luck and 50%, how many cars are going to help you. And I had a lot of help tonight, whether it was Kevin or anybody else was behind me, letting me in from the top. It really was cool to see those guys help me and the support that they had for me. So big shout out to those guys. That's pretty much why I'm here. At the end, it was chaos. That move was set up probably 20 laps in advance. My plan was to go to the bottom on a Stefan on the front stretch, but then he started blocking it earlier than I thought he would, so I had to change up my plan a little bit, and the outside move worked way better than I thought it would. So, then unfortunately I got caught up in that, and that really sucked. I felt bad for him, but yeah.
Were you surprised at all that Ryan Bloom, with a head of steam with Aaron Cooper on the back bumper, didn't take a run and just gave you a shot into turn 3? It pretty much solidified the win there.
I was shocked. I mean, I thanked Ryan after the race for a reason, because he definitely could have either driven through me or went around me, and I may not even be here right now. So it's a big shout to him. That's what I mean. Like Kevin, Ryan, those guys were super nice to me all night long, and that's what it takes to win these races is friends. And I had a lot of them tonight, so that helped a lot.
No doubt about it. Very, very exciting for you, Devin. Man, if you could go back and if your dad, obviously before he got caught up in the accident, what's the plan to see if your dad could help you get to the front there to try to get this win? I mean, I know it worked out in your favor anyway, but was there any communication of father-son working with each other to try to get the win?
Not really. I think Dad knew that I was going to do whatever I needed to do. And the thing is, I knew I was going to wait till 1-2 laps to go. And at that point, whatever my move was I was going to work by myself or it wasn't. And then Kevin went with me, so there wasn't much Dad could do for me behind and back and forth. Obviously, if he could help me, he was going to. I trust him in that, and I did the same thing for him, obviously. I just wish he would have hit the wreck. But, there was no communication. We knew up in that situation, you just do what you got to do, and Dad's going to have plenty of chances to win. Dad's good, so he'll probably win a few more races this year, probably more than I will, so not a big deal.
All right, buddy. Thank them sponsors.
Obviously CLICKIT RV, series sponsor. That's huge for this series. You guys, LSRTV, I mean, the broadcasts are crazy good. And obviously EWS, Washington Supply, Motorsports Distributing, and King's Custom Hardware. Those guys all helped me out in real life for a long time, so big shout out to them.
Sheldon Washington's Devin West will pick up the win. He will now be the second different winner on the series. Well, Terry Radford, a crazy ending here. Obviously, Devin West did what he needed to do to pull off the victory after some crazy moments in double overtime. But, hey, it's on to Homestead Miami Speedway. It's another 1.5 miles, another intermediate racetrack, my friend, but it is nothing like Atlanta. Homestead should be crazy. I look to see what we're going to see for the trucks in the fixed setup series next Wednesday night. Your final thoughts here tonight from Atlanta?
Well, if it's anything like what the eNASCAR College Series is like when they raced Atlanta, or Homestead, sorry, in the Xfinity car, it was wild. You were driving off the right rear quite a bit. You had to really wheel that thing. It's super fun, but I tell you what you could do as well. You can go race the Gen 4 car at Homestead Miami Speedway right now on the sim if you join iRacing. Next week's going to be fun, but this week, with Devin West getting her done out here, it was a wild ride. Next week's going to be even more fun to see what these drivers can do. I'm going to say that Ryan Bloom gets his first win next week of the season, this early, round 3.
He's definitely been climbing for sure, no doubt about it. And by the way, don't forget, tomorrow night it will be the Northwest Dirt Super Late Model Series from Volusia. Also, the Kentucky Dirt iRacing League finale. Big money for the Super Late Models as well. And for the drivers of the Northwest Truck and Xfinity Fixed Setup Series, it will be on to Homestead Miami Speedway. Texas, Kansas, Bristol, the next 3 races that are on the horizon. Thanks again always for joining us on our coverage. As always, hit that subscribe button if you've not done so at LSRTV on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at LSRTV, at iRacing, and at CRN Sports. For the people in the production truck like Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabdow, everybody at Rocket Racing Media. For Terry Radford, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations to Devin West, winner of a wild one tonight for round 2 at Atlanta. We'll see you next Monday and Wednesday night